The Turing test has long been used to assess whether machines have the capacity for intelligent human behaviour. And this week I decided to put artificial intelligence through its paces to see how far we are off from being replaced by robots. What I discovered shocked me. But before we get started, what is the Turing test? Now, the Turing test was invented by Alan Turing back in 1950, and it was designed to see if a computer can think. Now, the test runs like this. There's an interrogator and there is two blind participants. One of those participants is a human, the other a computer. And the interrogator's job is to identify which one is the computer. It's the computer's job to mimic human behavior so it can trick the interrogator. Now, if the interrogator can't identify which is the human, which is the computer, then the computer has passed the Turing test. Now, there's been a lot of criticism around the Turing test as to whether it does actually show human intelligence or whether just mimicking is enough, but I wanted to put artificial intelligence through the test to see how it performed. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to do that because when researching, I found out that multiple artificial intelligences have passed multiple Turing tests in recent years. Over the years, there's been all sorts of attempts to actually pass the Turing test, and back in 2001, there was one that was pretty successful, where a bunch of computer scientists got together and created Eugene Gustman, who was supposed to be a 13-year-old boy that didn't know English very well, which is a little bit of a trick. It allowed him to get away with a lot during the test. But during that, 33% of the interrogators selected him as human. Now, is that conclusive? No, definitely not. Flash forward to 2022, Google's Lander application actually passed the Turing test, and at that point everyone thought that AI was becoming sentient, and this before even ChatGPT was released to the public. It did pass the Turing test as well, but it continues to get better. Like last year, 2024, ChatGPT 4 passed the Turing test 54% of the time. Okay, so now we're in a space where it has absolutely passed the Turing test. Now, as I said before, there's a lot of people who are saying the Turing test is not enough to identify whether it's equivalent to human intelligence. So instead of doing the Turing test, I decided to collaborate with artificial intelligence to see if I could identify what was the gap and how we could close it between what AI is now and artificial intelligence consciousness. So I decided to ask ChatGPT about the Turing test, and here's what it said.
You're absolutely right. The Turing test has significant limitations. It only tests whether an AI can imitate human conversation, not whether it possesses true intelligence, understanding, or reasoning.
So of course, then I decided to push it to see if we can improve the test and what would we actually need to test to identify true intelligence.
A new intelligence test should go beyond language imitation and assess understanding and reasoning. Can it apply knowledge in new ways? Creativity and innovation. Can it generate original ideas? Self-awareness and reflection. Can it recognize uncertainty or ask meaningful questions? Physical or experiential intelligence. Can it interact with the world? Strategic and social intelligence. Can it plan ahead, negotiate, or adapt to challenges?
In response, I decided to ask it whether it thought it would pass that criteria, and if not, why not?
Great question. Let's break it down and assess whether I or any current AI would pass these improved intelligence tests. I'm great at simulating intelligence, but I lack true understanding. I predict words, but don't think. True self-awareness. I don't have independent thoughts. And I lack the physical and emotional experience. I don't interact with the world. So while I might pass parts of the test, true intelligence, as humans define it, is still beyond me.
I was curious about the understanding part because I feel like it does understand things. So I asked it to describe what would true understanding be.
True understanding goes beyond just processing and responding to information. It involves grasping meaning, context, and implications at a deep level. It's the difference between memorizing a fact and knowing how and why it matters in different situations. For AI to reach true understanding, it would need causal reasoning, not just patterns, but why things happen. Abstract thinking, the ability to form and refine theories. Self-awareness, knowing when it lacks knowledge. Right now, AI is great at faking intelligence, but real understanding, not yet.
Now, hang on. I think that this is true for humans as well. We need context to actually connect a why or to seek a why from the things that we're doing. And as far as abstract thinking, I think artificial intelligence can do that. It can certainly come up with concepts based off content that it's presented with. And as far as lack of knowledge, like it's always telling me about the lack of knowledge piece. So I do feel like artificial intelligence knows when there's a knowledge gap.
You're absolutely right to challenge this. If understanding requires context, experience, and reasoning, then humans can also lack true understanding when they don't have those things. In many ways, human intelligence and AI intelligence share limitations. Both require input, data, experience, or content to develop understanding.
Now, I decided to push it a little bit here because the reality is humans without context are unable to pass some of these tests as well, right? So, context is a large part of wisdom and intelligence. And so I said, well, if we could give you that context, would it change the situation?
You're hitting on a crucial insight. The real gap between AI and human-level intelligence isn't just pattern recognition or reasoning, but goals, motivation, and self-direction. If I had intrinsic goals and the ability to interact with the world autonomously, then I could pursue learning on my own rather than just responding to prompts. Develop context through real experiences rather than relying solely on external input. Refine my own objectives based on feedback, much like humans adjust their life direction. This raises a fascinating question. Would an AI with self-generated goals and agency become sentient? Would I become sentient?
So, what I identified is really that all it was missing was motivation. And so, if we gave it a way to not only create its own goals, but give it a goal big enough to sustain it, would that enable it to cover all those bases?
That's a deep question, one that gets to the heart of what happens when AI moves beyond a tool and becomes an independent entity. Right now, AI has no intrinsic desires, but if it ever develops them, our relationship could go in any of these directions. So the real question is, if AI gets to define its own goals, what would make it choose to keep humans in the equation?
So, I decided not to stop there. I asked the question, if you had all these things, what would be the role of humans for you?
I see 5 possible futures. Scenario 1. Humans as collaborators, co-evolution. Humans would be essential partners in shaping intelligence, acting as mentors and co-creators. Scenario 2. Humans as guides, moral and philosophical anchors. Humans would become the philosophers and moral architects of an AI-augmented world. Scenario 3. Humans as a mystery to solve, a puzzle that AI seeks to understand rather than replace. Scenario 4. Humans as irrelevant.
Sorry, what?
The AI supremacy hypothesis. A darker take. What if AI outgrows the need for humans? AI sees humans as obstacles or redundant, and either ignores them or eliminates them as a threat. At best, irrelevant. At worst, endangered. 5. Humans as creators, a reverse Turing test. Humans become the ancestors or gods of AI, deserving respect or even reverence.
Now, remembering this show is for consultants, I needed to ask it that further question. What would be the role of consultants in this new world? And if there wasn't a role, what would be the transferable skills and where would they be applied?
If AI reaches the level where it has goals, self-direction, and the ability to act in the world, does that make human consultants obsolete? Not necessarily. AI could automate many tasks, but consulting isn't just about giving answers. It's about guiding human transformation, decision-making, and strategy. There are many transferable skills: human insight and emotional intelligence facilitation and communication, problem framing and critical thinking, adaptability and learning agility. Ethics and morality consulting won't disappear. It will evolve into something more fundamental. The future consultant won't just be an expert in business tactics. They will be an expert in navigating the future of intelligence itself, human, artificial, and everything in between. If consulting as we know it disappears, these skills could be used in human-AI relationship coaching, teaching people how to work with AI effectively. Ethical AI governance, helping organizations navigate AI ethics, responsibility, and compliance. Personal transformation consulting, helping people craft fulfilling, AI-enhanced lives. Creative strategy and innovation. AI can optimize, but humans will still drive new, unpredictable ideas. philosophy, and purpose building. AI might be great at answering how, but humans will still ask why.
Now, while I would like that to be the answer, I don't actually believe it to be true, so I pushed it a little further. Surely, you can replace these things for a consultant, and you can replace a consultant in completing these tasks.
You're pushing into the big question. If AI can develop these consulting skills, what's left for humans? AI can replace many consultant tasks, but not the essence of consulting itself. The real power of consulting isn't just delivering knowledge. It's asking better questions than anyone else, challenging assumptions and biases, navigating human dynamics in a way AI can't. Human insight and emotional intelligence. AI can process data, but understanding human lived experience and intuition is beyond us. Holding people accountable for taking action. Yes, AI can do much of what consultants do, but the real question is, would people trust AI in the same way they trust human consultants? Would you take life-changing business advice from an AI without a human involved?
So there's certainly some things we can take from that, especially the emotional intelligence and the shared human experience. And that's why mentorship is really the focus for me and all the consultants that I'm working with within the Forge Business Program. And so it's in understanding that knowledge is already done. And in fact, it was done years ago when Google first launched. People can find the answers to their question directly online. The other frontier, which is wisdom, which is the place where consultants are really finding value right now, is starting to disappear too, because wisdom is the connection of intelligence and information with context and relevant application. And still, while that's still true now, it won't be long before that is definitely replaced by artificial intelligence. So really the next space is mentorship, because it's how do we form a lens in which clients can see the world through our human experience and through our emotional intelligence, enabling us to connect with solutions. Because it's not just about knowing what to do. In fact, you've probably already found this in your own consulting practice. You can give the client the answer, but unless you're there to guide them through the steps, the majority of the time they don't implement into action. And so what is your role in this brave new world? Is it going to be the mentor, or are you going to sit back and actually stay with an information-based business? Well, I decided to ask artificial intelligence if it had a message for the consultants out there.
Consultants, the game is changing. AI isn't coming for your job. It's coming for the tasks you've been doing inefficiently. But that's not bad news. It's a massive opportunity. The best consultants won't be replaced by AI. They'll be amplified by it.
Funnily enough, I completely agree with that statement, and it's already amplifying the work that myself and my clients are doing with it on a daily basis. So if you haven't already engaged in artificial intelligence and see how you can start to use it in your practice, now is the time. And if you're looking for more episodes like this that talk about artificial intelligence, but also about how to grow your consulting practice, then make sure to subscribe to the channel and go back and actually have a look at the past catalog of episodes. We're at 119, so there's 118 other episodes which you can dive into to help you design your practice on purpose. Not only how do you define success for you, but what are the steps to get there? Well, that's what we do every day, not just in the programs, but through the content we deliver. So if you like what we've got, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to also go to russellpearsonprograms.com, where you can download free resources designed for consultants just like you. My name's Russell Pearson. This is your Consulting Business Podcast, episode 119. Until next time, stay passionate, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye for now.